Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I'm happy to take a brief call on the Animal Welfare Amendment Bill. And can I start by acknowledging the very many dedicated and passionate people around New Zealand who are interested in this issue. Like every Member of Parliament, I get the hundreds, if not thousands, of emails declaring that they care about animals. And I want to send to them a very clear message. I care about animals as well, and I've acknowledged all those emails, and I share the concerns that people have raised, and I admire their passion, dedication and commitment in doing so over a significant period of time. New Zealand cannot be complacent when it comes to animal welfare. When we look at our 100% pure brand that our export industries, tourism and so many other New Zealand companies rely upon, would some of our current practices when it comes to animal welfare stack up favourably against that brand that we are so proud of overseas of being 100% pure? And the answer to that at the moment must surely be no. And therefore, extending the changes in this bill, and in fact I think going further, is very important to New Zealand, and I think it's long overdue. I get a bit frustrated. I'm a consumer. I look at many of these things from a consumer perspective, and I get frustrated that the progress on these issues seems to be so incredibly slow. Kevin Haigh mentioned Sue Kedgley raising these issues in the House quite some time ago, and yet progress has been very, very slow. I want to acknowledge people like Mike King for the work that he has done in exposing some of the worst practices in New Zealand. I think many New Zealanders wouldn't have even been aware that those things were happening in a country like New Zealand, and it took someone like him to actually shine some light on that before New Zealanders were aware of those issues. Many New Zealanders will look at this from the perspective of being a consumer. And I want to pick up a concern that Richard Prosser raised, and that is the impact of potential animal safety measure or animal welfare measures on potential prices that consumers pay for products, for food and so on. But the point that I would make is I remember it wouldn't be that long ago going and doing supermarket shopping, probably within the last 10 years, where free-range eggs were maybe 2, 3 or 4 times the price, significantly more expensive than battery-farmed, than eggs that came from battery hens. And yet now, in the supermarket, the price differential is nowhere near that. The consumer has basically placed the demand on for free-range products. They want to know that their eggs are coming from free-range chickens, and as a result, the price has actually come down. So to say that looking after animal welfare will come at a cost to the consumer, that doesn't necessarily apply. Actually, in many cases, the market forces will help to take care of that. Consumers actually want to know that the food that they are buying has been produced in an ethical manner. I want to know when I go to the supermarket that I'm buying free-range eggs, and I always make an effort to hunt them out. I want to know that the pork that I'm buying is ethically produced, and all of the other products that I'm buying are ethically produced as well. So I think that the New Zealand consuming public, from a consumer perspective, wants to know those things. And I think that New Zealand has been too slow in making sure that our laws have kept up with that and our regulations have kept up with that. So I welcome moves in this bill to start to move further forward, and I would like to say I'd like to see much, much faster progress than we're seeing. I want to briefly commend a couple of the supplementary order papers that have been put forward on this bill. I want to commend the supplementary order paper that bans animal testing for the purposes of proving or meeting the thresholds required for the sale of psychoactive substances. Of course, according to the standing orders, I'm not allowed to mention the member who promoted that particular amendment, but I do want to say that I think that's a very important amendment. I think that if the only way to prove that a psychoactive substance is suitable for human consumption is to torture animals, then I think that we should take the decision as a parliament that we will simply say that is not acceptable and that we would rather not have those products on the market. If torturing dogs is the only way to prove that those products and actually the SPCA would argue that there are other ways to test the products without testing them on animals, then I don't think we should be doing it. I think if those drug peddlers can't find another way to test their products, those products simply shouldn't be on the shelves and shouldn't be available. And I think similar things apply to cosmetics. We have to look at what's happening around the world. Other countries that we compare ourselves to have taken very principled positions when it comes to animal testing for cosmetics. Not only are they banning the testing, but they are banning the importation of products that have been tested in other countries, and New Zealand should be looking at that as well. These are our trading partners. These are people who we have relationships with. If they are doing it, then we need to be looking at that as well. We should live up to our 100% pure image, the brand that we're so proud of, and animal welfare is an integral part of that.